Hello there, this is Daniele from Toolchefs, and in this video we're going to have a look at the new Atoms Agents bundle. The Atoms Agents bundle is basically a bundle that is free for all our customers, and it contains agents for stadium population and city population and things like that. Animation wise, it contains walk cycles, run, jog cycles, sit, conversations, and so on. We also have a dog and a cat with some sit and idle animations and so on. And also we have a lot of variations that you can use for customizing your scenes. So all the instructions for installing this bundle are in our documentation. It is basically just downloading a zip and zipping it and copying it into a specific folder. In Maya you have to also copy a module file into your documents folder, documents Maya folder. In Houdini you have to change the Houdini env a little bit, but it's all basically explained on the documentation. In Houdini, if you install Atoms Agents correctly, you'll see it straight away in the menu. In Maya, it's slightly different. You have to go in the plugin manager and search for Atoms Agents and load it. Atoms Agents won't load if you have if Atoms Maya is unloaded, so always make sure that Atoms Maya is loaded first before loading the Atoms Agents. Once the Atoms Agents is loaded, plugin is loaded, you can go under Atoms menu and you'll see this new sub-menu here. In Houdini, instead we have a separate menu, so you'll see an Atoms Agents menu just next to Atoms. So first thing, we want to import the scene JSON, and this will of course initialize your scene using all the assets that are shipped with the Atoms Agents. If we open the Atoms UI, you'll see all the clips and the agent types that are are available. So we have the boy, we have a girl, we have a cat, Labrador, which is the dog, a man and a woman. Animation clips, we have a lot of them. So we have the cat walks, the cat idles, blah blah blah. It's the same thing for the child. We have some clips for the child, for the man, and the woman. The child clips are used for both the boy and the girl, while all the other characters, they have specific clips. State machine wise, we have already set up some state machines for you. So as you can see here, we have so this is the cat state machine. We have an idle state, walk state. Let me put this walk state with one clip. Let me make this bigger, and then we have run with just one run. Trot is the same, but then the idle, we have two idle clips, and for the sit we have a few. Same thing for the Labrador, while for the child, man, and so on, we have basically a lot of clips per state. Just the walk, the jog, and the run, there's just one clip. We provide also transition clips for all the states that like idle and walk. So we have idle to walks clip, walk to idle clip, and so on. So idle to run and so on. Then we have conversation clips, listen clips, and so on. All the state machines for the bipeds are set up similarly. So the woman is exactly the same. You have the same state IDs, so you can mix your agent types inside a single agent group, and still by using the same IDs in the state machine, you will actually play the same state. And then we have the Labrador. The Labrador state machine is the same as the cat, so it's basically this idea is the same. So you can use both the Labrador and the cat in the same state machine. In the same agent group, and you can use a state machine module with the same IDs. Okay, so one thing to know is that if you are planning to do like city population and so on, all your agents are set up correctly. So you see we have the state machine here is set to for the boy and the girl and the man, and the woman is set to the local state machine. Instead, if you want to make stadium population, you can just go here and change it to woman stadium state machine for the woman. Man, you have to change it to men's stadium state machine, and so on. The clips are different. In fact, here if we go to the, for instance, the men's stadium state machine, you see that the state machine is completely different. So we have some states which are basically the basic ones, which are sit and stand. But then from there you can go and use stand angry, stand applause, blah blah blah. Like you have all of these, so you can really go. You can open the Atoms UI, explore all the options that you have. For each one of these states, you should have at least. We have at least 2 clips, so you have a little bit more of randomization. And yeah, basically this is how you can then use the state machine for the stadium in case you want to do some stadium population. Okay, so this is it. It's already all set up, so you don't really need to know much more. But of course, if you plan to populate, to start populating, like your scene and so on, first have a look at the state machine, what you can do with the states and so on, so you have a better idea. Also, rendering wise, we provide Arnold, V-Ray, and Renderman materials, and to set them up, it's just a simple click. So if you want to set up Arnold variation, just click on this button and so on. There are some differences between the materials, and these are just mainly due to basically the stadium t-shirts. Some of the materials, which are the t-shirt materials, are customizable, and I'm gonna show you later how you can customize them. So V-Ray doesn't support them very well, and you can just customize one t-shirt. It's all explained in the documentation. While in Renderman, the main difference is that all the texture paths are coded inside the rib files, the material files. So you'll be fine if you copy the Atoms Agents bundle inside the predefined folder that is explained inside the documentation. But if you plan to copy that folder inside like another location, you will have to change all the texture paths in the rib file, which is, if you don't know scripting, is kind of a big task. But of course, if you want to do this, we can help you with that. So just let us know, and we can change the rib for you, the rib files for you. Okay, so we've already imported our scene JSON, and now we're gonna start creating our first agent group. So here we go create agent group. We're gonna create a grid layout. This is something very simple. Then later we're gonna see something a bit more complex. So we're gonna say we're gonna use the agent type, say the man as agent type. We're gonna create whatever, a grid of 5 by 5. And actually, let's do just yeah. No, let's 5 by 5 is fine. I'm gonna change it to skin. Of course, you have textures already, so this is how the agent look, the skin mesh. And then we're gonna do like attach a state machine, and we are going to play the state 0. So this is basically the idle clip. So if you press play now, these these are all the agents playing the idle state. Of course, then you can change it to 1, animate it, use another trigger for changing your for changing the state, whatever really. So 1 is walk for all the agents, 2 is jog, then we have the run, 2, 3. And then we have, I think, let's see the Atoms UI, just have a look. Man loco, so run, conversation is 4, so let's do 4, just have a look. So these are the guy talking. If you want to go to the listening, you can use 5. And of course, if you want to have some agents, talking, like these ones, you can just go in here and do 4, and then they will be talking, all the others will be listening. So yeah, this is how you can customize your your states, and quite quickly. You have also have angry conversation, angry listen. Of course, the angry conversation works better with the angry listen, and the conversations work better with just the listen. If you are planning to make like agents talking one with another and so on. And the same will apply if you use a child, so the girl, the boy, or the woman. We are gonna have a look quickly at a dog. Actually, let's have a look at the cat. So here, I'm pretty sure. So let's clear this. So this is the, sorry, wrong agent type. Girl, cat. That. This is the idle state, I think. And actually, it's because the cat doesn't have a 5 ID state, so yeah, it's just the maximum is 4, so let's use 4. So here you see we have all the cats sitting down, the idle is 0. And of course, if you don't want to see, for instance, the cat stretching, which is one of the clip, you can just use this one, like change the cat idle to exclusive. Of course, because the stretching is a bit specific, so it might look they're all doing the same action. Hopefully, you're not gonna have a scene full of cat, but if you do, of course, you can customize it as you want. You can even change the state machine, save it, export the JSON file using the exports in JSON in case you want to change it a little bit. So, and if you think that that works better for your kind of scenes, just feel free to export it. And then we have the walk and jog and run. Labrador is the same, so you'll have some different clips, of course, but so for the idle we have the idle shake, the sit we have few, I'm just gonna show you, we have a few other animations. So this ID 4, let's change the agent type to Labrador 4. So yeah, you have a bunch of clips that you can use. Okay, so that's fine. Next thing that I would like to show you is basically a few clips that are very specific. So we I've already said, we have created some state machines for you, but we've also done some created some specific clips that are not inside the state machine, but they are useful for some kind of situations. For instance, if you would like to have two agents working and talking at the same time, you can do it with specific clips, which are basically the man work. So let's go and look for the man. So man and work and conversation. Sorry, apologies for that. For this, we need the compatible agent type set here just to see the preview. But basically, is the man working and talking, and of course the man work conversation one will work with man work and listen. Same problem here, so just set it to man. So let's try to set it up quickly. So grid layout, we're gonna use the man. Rewind, we're just gonna use 2. Actually, let's do 1 and 2 like that. Then I'm gonna remove the state machine. I'm gonna create a clip reader. So I'm gonna set the clip for that one to men walk and listen, and the other one to men walk and conversation. So let me clear the selection. Actually, yeah, so the first thing that you have to make sure is that the start frame is the same for the clips, because they're synchronized. So if they're not using the same start frame, so -1 will actually randomize the start frame for each agent. But if you use the same value, you'll see basically that they, let me make the animation a bit. Basically, they will stop together, they will talk, and then they will start walking again, and so on. So we have few animations like that. So we have man walk conversation 1 and 2. So it's two different kind of style of conversation. You can use them. We have also man angry, and the same thing will be for the woman and the children. So angry conversation 1 works with angry conversation on the spot 1 2. Then angry conversation on the spot 2 1 works with man angry conversation on the spot 2 2. So yeah, basically these are the different clips that you can use for for customizing a little more your scene. Now let's have a look at the variations. So I'm just gonna make again the state machine. I'm gonna make this grid a bit bigger again. And I'm going to import the Arnold variations. They will be available in the variation manager. If you want to edit the variations, for instance, you don't like a material that is applied to a variation, or a specific geometry, you would like to have a prop and an accessory in your variation, you can just change the variation, export it again with you can export the entire variation JSON with the export variation JSON here, this action, and then you can reuse it in your scene if you want to edit ours. So now I'm going to set it to variations, rewind. Of course, I don't have any variation set at the moment, so I'm going to open the variation randomizer. I'm going to select man. Now, just for now, I would like just to show you the all the variations except the stadium ones. I'm going to show you the stadium in a second. You can adjust the distribution here if you want. I don't care about that right now. I'm going to click rewind. As you can see here, we have some variations. Some guys have glasses, some other ones don't have a lot of hair. We have guys with a tie, hats, beards, weird shoes, different outfits and so on. Okay, so if you press play, of course they work. They work just fine. And now let me show you quickly about the variations. These variations, even the woman one. So the man and the woman, they have the stadium variations. All the other characters don't. And all the variations that are not the stadium variation, they are just what you see. So basically, you can't edit this one with the custom metadatas and so on. But you can change the stadium variations. So I would like just to create one agent, one main agent. And then I'm going to set the stadium 1 1. So when you use the 1, so like this, actually let me remove the overrides. So like this. So you see here we have, let's change it. I don't like the guy with the glasses. Okay, this one is better. So stadium 1 stands for the first type of stadium variation. So basically 1 is just stands for the type of t-shirt, and then you have, I think, 20 or 40 variations for this stadium t-shirt, and the same thing is valid for the second t-shirt. So now let me load Arnold, and I'm gonna create a light. The sky dome light, and okay, that's fine. So now If I render, sorry, first before I go to render, just one thing. You see here there's a preview here, and unfortunately this does not. And even if you edit the material on your agent group, the preview won't match basically what the final result is, the render. So you always need to render your t-shirts if you want to see actually their actual look. So I suggest, of course, create just one agent, edit the parameters until you get the result that you want, take some notes to what the values are, and then when you have a lot of agents, then you can reapply that settings to all your agents. So now I'm going to render quite quickly. Let me just that's fine. So yeah, this is the look, how it looks, the first t-shirt. So basically this is you have some solid colors on the sides, and then you have stripes here. So when I said you can adjust the settings to change the look of the t-shirt, it means that if you add some metadatas here, so let's add these like another metadata module, and on the documentation you'll find all the parameters that you can change, but now I'm gonna show them to you right here. So first one is sports shirt one mode. So if this is gonna be an integer, and you need to reset the simulation, rewind, and this one will actually match the look that we had before. So it's gonna be solid color on the side, and then we have the stripes here. If you do one, we'll see that we have a different look. So this one I think is just the same without the logos. Yeah, just the same without the logos. If we do two, is basically the same what we had before, but before we didn't have this gray color around the neck. So you add these to the t-shirt. With three, you don't have the solid color on the side, and I think that's it. So I think 4 doesn't exist. Yeah, so if you specify a value that is not valid, you'll see everything black. So let's just go back to 0 for a second, which is the default one. So with this value, then we adjust the mode of the t-shirt. Another thing to know is that if you want to change the logo here, so this on the sleeve and this one on the chest, it's just a matter of changing a texture inside the Atoms agents install. And again, this is explained inside the documentation. So if you want to have a look, just go there and you can see what images you have to change. Then we can adjust, add another metadata for changing the stripe count. So this is going to be an integer again. So if we set it to 0, I think we're going to just get a solid color, which is just going to be yellow. Yeah, just I think this is the brighter yellow. If we do 1, we have a bit more stripes too. I think let's jump to 5. Yeah, again, so 5 is too high. So I think the maximum here is 4. Yeah, 4 is more like a multiplier, so you have you don't actually have 4 stripes. So it's more like the density of the stripes. So I think the default is 3. This is what you see when you first load your t-shirt. So okay, so this is another thing. Then you can change the colors of the t-shirt. So quite easy to do. You can just add a metadata. Like that. and this one is going to be a vector just because this is a color, and we're going to say I'm going to use red, so it's just going to be a punch in our eye, but you'll be able to see what straight away what the result is. So you see we have changed one color of the stripes, and also we have changed the color on the sleeves and here on the neck, and then we can add another metadata, which is this one. Let's do it blue. Actually, let's do 0.5, so it's not very bright. Sorry, this was green, sorry. And then we have another metadata for this is gonna be basically the solid color. We're gonna make it blue, like that. Of course, I mean, yeah, the combination of colors is not very good, but again, this is just to show you how you can edit this stuff a little bit. So, okay, so this is the first t-shirt. The second t-shirt is a bit different, so let's change the variation to 2, and of course as soon as you change the variation, all these metadata will stop having meaning just because they're referring to the first t-shirt. So I'm just gonna disable all of these for now. I'm gonna set the mode of the 2 like that. I'm gonna rewind. And here what we're gonna see is basically this is the default look. So we have a solid color, these stripes here, and the logo. So if we do 1, we're gonna hide the logo again. If we do 2, we're going to hide the stripes, I think. Yeah, and have just the logo. And if you do 3, I think is invalid. Let's see, yeah, it's invalid. So this is what you can do basically. We have just 3 modes, so 0, 1, and 2. So let's go back to 0. And here what we can do is we can change the color of the stripes again. So it's gonna be 1. So this one was, yeah, okay, so this one doesn't work for this t-shirt. So you can do 2, 2, 2. So you have 3 colors again you can change. And again, we're gonna see those ugly colors, so red, green, and blue. But again, here is how you can change your t-shirt so that you can customize the color, its color, its look. And this is all for the variations. And now let's have a look at an example. So I've created this very simple mesh here. Let's import our scene.json and let's create let's first register the height field like that. Okay, done. Let's create an agent group with a point layout and a state machine. Let's use the height field and the state machine to the point layout tool. I'm gonna add the ground mesh. I'm gonna select the man. Just gonna move to here, and I'm gonna rotate a little so we can add this. I'm gonna add another one there, and on this other side let me add a woman, a couple of women actually, that and like that. Same thing over here, and let me add a man on this other side. Like this. Then I'm going to add a dog, actually a couple of dogs, so one here and another one next to the woman over here. That. Okay, I'm pretty sure I will have to move it. I will have to rotate a little bit later, but let's see. I'm going to change the display type to skin so we can see what's going on. And let me change the state machine state to 1. Okay, so wireframe shade on, sure, yeah, 6. So basically now, as you can see, we have laid out our scene. We have some, the dogs walking next to the woman and man, but as you can see, the speed is different. So the clips are not synced in that sense. So the woman and the man are walking a bit faster. So even for the children, they're gonna be walking slower because they have shorter legs. But you can edit these quite quickly. So for instance, let's select these 2 dogs. So agent selection to that one and this one. We can change the frame rate. I'm pretty sure. So let's do 1.4. These are basically some values that I've already tested, but of course you could use different values. I'm gonna change also the frame rate for those 2, 0.8, something like that. And now if I press rewind and press play, you see they're walking closely. I think probably the dog is walking a little bit faster, but it's okay. I mean, it's a good solution. Of course, just in this case, we don't want this woman to go and basically intersect with the dog, so we could make her turn a little. So let me create a curve. So curve, let me first select this guy. Maybe it's a bit too much. Select that. Something across these lines. Okay, so we have that curve, agent group, direction follow curve. But the weight should be 0 for everyone except dot woman. So could weight that guy 1 set. Okay. So yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, we could spend a bit more time just to make it look nicer, just have her like turning earlier, something like that. But this is basically quickly how you can lay out your scene. Now we can have a look at another example. This is the most common scene in a stadium. So basically, people watching and then doing the wave, the Mexican wave, I've already laid out our scene. So we have a night field, which is this mesh. We have some benches for our characters. I've created 3 agent groups, so all these guys are just using the same state, while in these other 2 I'm using 2 different states. Fairly simple here. So what we can do is that we would like to have an error trigger to trigger the wave. So when this meshes passes through here, we want the crowd to react. So let's start with the first group, which is the easiest one. I'm going to add an error trigger. It's gonna be error trigger. I'm gonna middle mouse drag and drop the plane onto here. State, the state that we want is we go on the state machine of the man, so main stadium state machine, and we check the stand wave, which is 9. Also, I forgot to say what basically I've changed, as I mentioned earlier in this video, the state machine for the man to stadium state machine. I just changed the man just because I just want to use the man in this scene, but if you want to use the woman and the boy, please do the same. I mean, use for instance, also the girl, change the child local state machine to child stadium state machine and so on. So we're just gonna use the man for now. Okay, so now if I press play, Actually, sorry, I forgot to change the, so metadata name state, int value to 9. If I now press play, you'll see that what's happening is not actually what we want. We would like to have, you know, the agent start with the wave before, you know, going back to the, like to have this agent to start the wave before the second one and so on. So it should be something like gradual from right to left, but this is not happening. Also, we want to keep value to off, just because we want the agents not to loop with the wave. They have to do it just once, basically. So basically this is happening because if we go in the state machine and check stand, this basically we're using at the stand clip, we're using, sorry, in the stand state we're using the main stand clip. So if we go here in main stand, you see that the transition frames are 0, 30, 95 and so on. This means that basically we use these frames in the clip for blending, for transitioning to another state. So let's say if I'm pretty sure that the first agent is in between one of the larger ranges, so maybe between 2065 and 313, and is waiting until it gets to 313 before you know, going to the next state and transitioning. So to avoid this, so this is done actually because the poses at these frames match better, so they are almost similar. But if you don't care about that, and also if you have, for instance, a blend frames like these values of 10, which is quite big, you can actually use a little trick, which is we're going to open the script editor, and we're going also to have a look at the UI. So here we see we have 313 frames, and loop start is 0 and loop end is 313. So with Python I'm gonna do just print list range 313. I know this might be very complicated, but you know, like this value is just the last frame of the end here, of the loop end, and it's basically has printed all the frame numbers from 0 to all the way to 313. So I'm just gonna copy paste that to here. Just gonna make sure to remove the square bracket at the end. I'm gonna press Ctrl S. So now basically it's gonna transition on all the frames. And if I press play, now we'll see we have basically that animation that we wanted. We have two different wave animations, so that's why you see that basically some guys keeping the pose longer than others. If you want to change that, you can just go inside here and set to exclusive for one of the two stand waves. So this is how you do it for one. So for this agent group, which is basically all agents all having the same state. But let's see, for sit we also have a sit to sit wave like that. So 14. So I'm going to select this other agent group. I'm going to add another arrow trigger. I'm going to sorry, I need to select first module state again. So now I want to do 9. I'm going to remove keep state, keep value, and we're going to see just the agents with the which are standing are transitioning into the wave, and this could be okay. But if you want also the other agents in the sit to transition, we need to override the value for just the agents that are sitting down. So I'm gonna select them. So this guy, this guy, this guy. I mean, it could be not even all of them. Maybe one of the guys is not really up for a wave, so it could just sit there. But it's gonna be 14. I'm gonna set the value. I'm gonna press play. Actually, let me create the selection first. And again, this could be, this suffers of the same problem of the previews of the stand clip that we saw before. So here in the seat we have let me make this one a little bit. We have men's seat as a clip, so we can go in here, search for men's seat, which is this one, and you see we have the same problem with transition frames. So if we want to change that as well, we're gonna open the script editor, change it to 150, print, copy them all, go here, remove this last square brackets, save, and now we're gonna see and for the last one I'm going just to add another trigger with saying setup plane. Just gonna turn off keep state. I'm gonna set the value to 9. So this means that all the men standing will do the wave, and with the one sitting down I'm not gonna do it, but it's gonna be like, it's just fine for now, like for this quick example. Of course, I mean, with the clips that we provide and all the variations and so on, you can really bring your scene to a higher level, so you can set the variations and change the t-shirts in the case of the stadium, and so you can really customize your scene at your liking. So I hope you like what you've seen. The Atoms agents again are free for all our customers, yeah, thanks very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.